Over the past few months, I feel like I've become severely behind on my reading journal, so I figured today we could work on it together. I need to update the front matter, of course, which is like all of my yearly tracking spreads, but I also really need to do some of my monthly spreads too. So I think I'm gonna do May and June in this video, and then I'll do July, probably at the end of August, just so I don't overwhelm myself too much today. I've been keeping this same reading journal for about 3 years now, and over the years, my style and how creative I get with it has definitely changed and evolved. So it's really cool to see all the details from the past few years. And if you're curious about how I set up this year's journal, I will have that video linked down below, along with all of my reading journal supplies that I use on a normal basis as well. Anyways, we're gonna keep this intro short and sweet because once I get started on my reading journal, it does take a hot minute. So let's just get into it. Here's the journal in question that I've been working on for the past 3 years or so. As you can see, a lot of it has been filled up so far. I'd say that maybe I'm about halfway through it. I don't know if next year I'll continue on in this journal or not. We'll have to see, but I do still have quite a bit of space left. Recently, I've been doing more scrapbooky spreads, so I feel like a lot of my recent spreads are taking up a lot more space in the journal. But anyways, here's my title page for my journal this year. We're starting right off from 2025, and I just went into 2026. I don't have anything to fill out on this page. It's just the title page, but the first page that we have to fill out is my reading goal page. Currently, so far this year, I have read 49 books, so that's what I'm gonna fill it out to. I'm gonna count really quick and go backwards just so I don't fill out too many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 49. This one is 49, so I'm gonna fill this one out first. As you can see, because it is in big numbers right here, my reading goal for the year is 100 books. I've hit my 100 book goal for 2 years in a row, and I feel pretty good about it. I will say I did just go through a pretty rough book slump where I just wasn't reading as much, which is totally okay that that's fluctuating because that's just completely normal. Sometimes you're more into your hobbies than others. So I'm trying not to be too hard on myself this year. If I hit my goal, I hit it. If I don't, I don't. It's not that big of a deal. I feel like what really matters is that I'm enjoying the books that I'm reading, but it is also fun and feels really good to hit a goal. So we'll see how I feel about it by the end of the year. Also, one thing that I have started to do with my markers this year is label them with tape. I saw Rachel Catherine do this and I thought it was absolutely genius because a lot of these Crayola super tip markers look almost like exactly the same color. And even if you swatch them, sometimes it's hard to know which one is the exact match. So I'm really glad that I did this and it's just saved me a lot of perfectionist pain knowing that everything in my journal is actually gonna match. That is 49 books all filled out. And as you can see, I also have some small little stars right here and right here and right here. And that's because I colored outside of the lines a little bit. So that's another way that I save myself some perfectionist pain. I don't know why I'm calling it perfectionist pain. I guess that's a new thing I'm just deciding to say today. So if I see anywhere I colored outside the lines, I'll just add like little stars. And it's cute and it's fun and it's fresh and I like it. And that's all that matters. And probably at the end of the year, I'll go back and add more stars because like right here, we have like barely any, even though I could definitely add a few, but just to make it look more cohesive, I will probably go back and add even more stars. As you can tell too by the stickers around here, I do love a good star. I also did want to fill out some of my goals because I have hit some of them already. First one is finish 75 booked. I think I'm gonna use this marker to fill it out. I'm just gonna fill out the square. I'm not gonna do a check mark or an X or anything. I did 75 booked the first 75 days of the year and I definitely enjoyed it. I did it with my friends. It was a nice way to make sure that I'm consistently reading. I don't think that it was too crazy of a challenge. Honestly, it was just helping me stay consistent because I was just reading for, I believe it was an hour and a half every single day. And it was also just a fun challenge to do it with my friends as well. So I did enjoy doing it. And then the other thing I can cross off as well is 10 new authors. I finished that pretty early in the year. I can go ahead and list them off for you. But I read books for the first time by Olivia Blake, Sophie Cousins, Lily King, Lane Fargo, Marissa Cashino, Andy Weir, Leif Enger, Rachel Mills, Emma Brody, and finally Carol Claire Burke. I have read more than 10 new authors actually, which is always very exciting. And I believe I enjoyed over like 75% of those books by new authors that I read. So that is also also really great. Love finding a new favorite author. We're gonna move on to the next spread, which is my monthly tracker. I'm gonna get out my purple markers. I am only going to be doing the May and June monthly spreads today, but we are going to be filling out all of my tracker front matter spreads for June and July. In the month of June, I read 6 books. That is kind of when my dreaded book slump unfortunately began. And then in the month of July, I ended up reading 3 books. This is 3 books, right? 1, 2, 3. I can count. Look at me. As you can see, there's definitely a trend for the first 4 months of the year. I was reading pretty consistently the same amount of books, and then May I hit a stride, and then it just went a little bit down from there. But I'm not going to be too hard on myself. And I'm also not going to say I only read 3 books in July, because one, that's just silly. Reading any books, in my opinion, especially in the age of a literacy crisis, is like a big deal. And also reading isn't a sport. And you know, hopefully I'll get back up there and be reading more books a month again someday. Because I feel like sometimes social media can make reading seem like it's a competition when it's just not. It's just a hobby that's fun that a lot of people share. We're now gonna move on to the right side, which is my genre tracker. I read 2 memoirs in the month of June, 1 historical fiction, 2 graphic novels, and 1 romance. In July, I also read 1 romance, and then I read 2 graphic novels. I do think that next year, whenever I do these 2 spreads, I want to make it more colorful, because I always think it's fun to see each month represented in the genre tracker as a different color, so you can see what genres you were reading at a certain time of year or in which month. I just think that's really interesting and another fun way to see your statistics. Also, it's just more colorful, but I do really love purple, as you can very well tell. So anyways, genre tracker is done. Now we have my lovely physical TBR page. First things first, I have a few books to add. I got Our Perfect Storm, I Who Have Never Known Men. I think I'll just put I Who Have Never Known for that one. And then The Someday Garden. And when you look at this spread, everything listed before this little squiggly page break are all the books that I've owned prior to 2026. And going through this list right now so far, I don't think I have read a single one, if I'm gonna be completely honest with everybody. I also feel like I'm missing more books off of this list. Let me look. After consulting my physical TBR that is on Fable, I need to write down Good Joy, Bad Joy. I don't know why this looks so weird the way I wrote it. Maybe it was the way I was holding the marker. And then I also need to write down The Burning Side by Sarah Damoff, which I'm really excited to read both of these. I believe that's all for new books though. As for the ones that I have read, I've only read ones that I've bought recently. Unfortunately, it wasn't, that's not the goal, but it happens sometimes. And at least they're not going to be sitting on the TBR cart for too long. I did finish the Emma M. Lyon series, so I'm going to cross off 7 and 8. I also read Our Perfect Storm, and I think that is all for updates on this page. So that means it's time to move on to my yearly TBR page. Unfortunately, no update on this page this time around when I'm updating. I am currently reading Percy Jackson though, the first one, The Lightning Thief. And I'm actually currently reading Mistborn too. I'm reading that with my brother-in-law and one of our friends for a book club. So I'll be reading that over a longer period of time than I would have if I was just reading it on my own, because we're reading a certain amount of pages per week. So I'm making good progress on both of these, and I want to read Yellowface soon. I feel like I've been mentioning that a lot recently. The other 3 books, I'm thinking are more fall and winter, but I feel like I've been making really good progress on this so far this year, and hopefully, cross my fingers, I can finally finish a yearly TBR. I also just really like the way that this spread is turning out. So that is always a fun feeling. This spread, I feel like by the end of the year is going to be one of my favorites. This is my reading bucket list spread. Since I haven't updated my reading journal in quite some time, I'm probably going to pick quite a few to fill out, especially because this is one of my favorite pages. It just feels like a coloring book at this point. A lot of the front matter pages do just feel like a coloring book whenever you get to this point in the year after you set everything up and you've gotten to filling a bunch of things out throughout the year. I don't know. It's just so fun. It's like I made my own coloring book. So let's see what I want to fill out today. Pink cover is catching my eye. I did read Tropesick in the month of June, I believe. And whatever book correlates with the bucket list square, I do write the title of said book. I didn't do that in the past, but I'm really liking knowing what books actually match each square. Each square. I don't know how to say each, I guess. But I really like knowing which book matches each square this year, because in the past it's just been a little bit confusing and I don't remember which one is for which book. So that has been helpful. I also think that I'm going to assign the books and write them with my pen first, and then we'll get into coloring here in a second. I did also finish the Emma M. Lion series, so I'm gonna do that here. I did screw up that M for Emma, weirdly enough, but you know what? We're gonna look past that. It's all gonna be okay. I've reread the entire Heartstopper series, actually, so I'm gonna put that down for reread, especially because I don't know if I'll end up doing any other rereads this year. I'm not a huge rereader, if I'm being honest, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see on that, because we do still have quite a chunk of the year left. I've read quite a few memoirs this year, so I can definitely fill this out. I think I'm gonna do Yes Please by Amy Poehler. I really enjoyed it. That's probably my favorite, if not one of my favorites of the year I've read so far. I'm gonna put Amy Poehler down here as well, just so I can remember who it's by, especially because it's a memoir. And then I'm thinking from here I'll do two more, because we've already done quite a few. I have read the Lightfall graphic novel series. I read the newest one that came out, and since I already put Heartstopper down, I'll probably put Lightfall here. I read number 4, which was the most recent, so I'll just put that one down, even though I think I read the third and the second one also earlier this year. It's a really cute, I believe, children's graphic novel series by Tim Probert. The art, the storyline, super fun, very easy to read if you're looking for a graphic novel. I'm also really excited to color this one in because I really like the squares that I did with it. And I think from here we'll do start a new series. I could do Percy Jackson or Mistborn because I'm currently reading both of those. I'm just trying to think about which book could also be used for another square. And I'm pretty sure, not pretty sure, I am sure I could definitely put Mistborn on my 2025 TBR square right here, and I'll definitely be finishing that before the year is over. So I think I'm gonna do Percy Jackson for start a new series. Best thing I love about this pen is it like does not smear at all. Like I just wrote this. This was, I'm pretty sure, the last one I wrote. Doesn't smear, which I love because I'm not very conscious or careful most of the time when I'm doing stuff like this. Okay, now to the fun part. Let's get to coloring. I do have a little swatch page I like to use too. Let's start with Tropesic over here in the corner. Gotta make it pink, obviously. And I don't love that pink, nor that one. All right, this might take a second. With Tropesic, I did enjoy it quite a bit, but at the same time, I feel like having the tropes be like the general plot of the story was definitely fun, and it was used as a plot device, obviously, as tropes are. But I feel like it got in the way of the plot at times, especially because I really liked the plot and our main characters. Wow, I cannot find a pink to save my life that I like. And the end, it was interesting, that's for sure. I honestly think I might just go with this one. Yeah, that one. Why do I feel like there's barely any pinks in here? I have been thinking about maybe getting some more of these just because I do use them on my journal so much, and I really like these markers. They're pretty affordable as well. Maybe I'll ask for some more for Christmas or something, who knows? But they're perfect for reading journaling because they don't bleed through at all. Or you know what? Maybe I'll do like a half and half for this one because these two are just colored in normally and I want to make some of them look a little bit more interesting. So I think I'll just do a little pink line down the middle and then color in this right side this color. And then hopefully we can find another pink I like for the left side. I think I'm just gonna do this darker one right here. It's kind of more of like a darker purpley pink, but purpley pink is still pink. And also I just think that these two colors go really well together. So yay, I already like that quite a bit. And also the cover of Tropesic has like a lighter pink and a darker pink. So I think that's perfect to represent that book. I think I might do something similar for Emma M. Lion, but I'm gonna cut it through the middle here with the A because that just kind of makes the most sense. It's almost how I set it up for myself, I guess. The first Emma M. Lion novel is like a blue-ish green, almost like a teal looking color. I don't know, that's a little dark. I don't love that. Maybe if we can get a lighter option. Honestly, that's perfect. Okay, green, pulling off what pink couldn't do at this point. Oh wait, I could use both of those. Let me do this one first and then I'll go back to it. I think if you've watched any other video on my channel, you will have known by now that Emma M. Lion is a favorite series for me, and finishing it has been very sad because that means I currently don't have any more books to read in the series. It's just a cute, whimsical historical fiction series that has my heart and I love it so much. I truly, like genuinely love everything about it. I think the found family though is probably my favorite part. Why does this look so much darker here, but it doesn't look darker here? Riddle me that. I'm gonna have to do a darker color to cover that up. I don't know. Would this blue look okay? It's not really what I was envisioning, but here we are, I guess. I think that that actually looks just fine, honestly. And I think it complements it, so we'll go with that. I did use this color on this Finish a Series. Trying not to spiral about that. That's the thing about me doing like creative things. I do tend to overthink it. And I'm like, well, I can't have 2 blue squares or 2 purple squares together. It's like, mama, just have fun. Just sit back, relax, and fill it out. It's really not that serious. I do need to remind myself of that very consistently. Heartstopper, I think I want to make pink and red. I think I'm going to do like little hearts. Nothing else on here so far, I believe, has hearts. So I don't know. I just think that would be cute. Me trying to find another pink that I like. I love this game. I think I'm gonna do this one. This one's very like Valentine's pink, and then I'm gonna do red hearts. But my Heartstopper reread was an absolute joy. I had an amazing time, and the main reason why I reread it now specifically is because the 6th one just recently came out in the month of July. I have not read it yet. I am so excited to read it, but I'm also gonna be real sad because it's like officially the last book in the series, and I'm honestly putting off reading it at this point because I know I'm gonna absolutely love it, and sometimes it's fun to sit on a 5-star read like that, especially if it's something like this that is a series where I've just grown to love the characters so much over the years because Nick and Charlie are just absolute cutie patooties and sweethearts. Okay, these hearts are actually turning out quite cute. I'm trying to do a few different sizes, I guess, and then I'll probably do some to where it looks like they're like off the page. How detailed of me. Okay, I like that. I think that is quite cute. Memoir, I think I might use one of these. Well, that's brown. I was gonna say do like a darker pink because Yes Please's cover does have some pink on it. Maybe this one? I think I'm gonna do the dark pink as one of the squares. Or not one of the squares. I'm gonna alternate the square options. So it's gonna be one of the square options. And then I think I'm gonna pair it with this purple because it's like almost just a little bit lighter, or I guess less vibrant than the other one we used. Guess I'm just really loving some pinks and purples today. Do I go dark? Do I feel like that fits? I don't know. Ooh, I think I'm gonna do this darker purple, actually. Well, does that look similar or too similar to this color? I think we're about to find out. Actually, I think I'm just gonna go for it because I don't think I haven't used this color at all elsewhere. Let's switch it up. Let's have some fun. Why the heck not? Not gonna lie, as I was filling that out, I just had a minor freak out that you guys couldn't see anything I was doing, but I have my iPad to my right that connects to my overhead camera, so we're good. We're good. You know, I'm not obsessed with this, but I also think it looks fine. It's different, it's fun, it's fresh. Let's go with it. We now have the Lightfall and the Percy Jackson squares. I think I'm gonna do a green on one of these. I think I'll do green for Percy Jackson on these little corners. Could also do green on the rest of it too. Why the heck not? Now, let's do graphic novel. I'm gonna do this beautiful teal color, which was actually the color I was looking for when I did this one, but you know, it all worked out in the end. I'm getting to use it right now. Is it boring of me to want to do like gray in the squares? Because it just kind of makes sense for the series. Is that boring? I don't know. That's like a grayish blue. I think I'm gonna make one of the squares that we're alternating on gray because it kind of represents one of the characters, and then maybe I'll do like a red, orange, or yellow because it also represents like a part in the book. Okay, I actually love that. Do I even fill out the rest of the square? Because I do like the black and white, but I also feel like it doesn't look done. I'm also making a mess and the markers are going everywhere. I feel like the problem is that my indecisiveness and perfectionism unfortunately go hand in hand. So that's, you know, it's a tough combo. I think I'm just gonna do black. Why not? It honestly just looks like a darker gray anyways. I think that was the black that I used for these border squares too, which I love doing that. It did take forever to do this border because I hand drew it, but I love how it turned out. Okay, final square is finished, and I believe those are all the updates I'm doing on this page. I will probably, like how I mentioned on my reading goal page, how I went around with little stars and stuff to fix me going outside of the lines. I'll probably do that maybe at the end of the year when it's hopefully fully filled out, but Really loving how this one is turning out so far. I just did a quick little cleanup of the marker mess that I had on the table just to make sure we had some room to work with for this next spread, because I do have a little bit of updating to do here. We definitely have some books to add. Well, not books, some series to actually add to my series tracker. We'll start with crossing off one that I finished. I already said this in this video, but I did finish the 7th and 8th volumes of Emma M. Lion. I don't know when the 9th is coming out, but I'm really excited for that because I just want to continue one of my favorite series. So we have that. I crossed that through, and I believe this is the first time this year that I'm going to be adding a new series to this list, which is very exciting. And I think I'm actually going to be adding 3 series. First up, I'm going to add Percy Jackson because I am in the middle of reading that first one, and I do plan on trying to read the whole entire series sometime this year too. Even if I didn't, it would go on this list though, because it is a series, you know, that I ended up starting to read, and that's shockingly enough how a series tracker works. And if I'm remembering correctly, I believe there are 5 books in this first series of Percy Jackson and the Olympians. So I'm gonna do 5 squares, of course. And then I'm also gonna add Mistborn as well, because I'm also reading the first book in that series right now with my book club, like I already said. Which, might I just say, so excited for fall and winter reading because I'm really enjoying Mistborn. And I feel like it is bringing back my love for reading fantasy, which is always a nice feeling. And then finally, I'm going to write down Heartstopper because the 6th one, like I already said earlier, just came out. And I have already read the first 5, but again, it's a series and I'm gonna track it, so why the heck not? I also know that Mistborn, there's like a first trilogy and a second trilogy. I'm just gonna put the first trilogy on here right now because I don't think that I'll be getting to the second trilogy this year at all. I think, you know, maybe that's a little ambitious. Maybe I'll just start with the original trilogy and we'll see from there. That's 6, right? Yes. Whenever I talk while I do stuff like this, you never know what's gonna happen. So sometimes it is a little bit nerve-wracking when I'm doing something with a permanent marker while I'm talking to you guys. And then all the rest of the series that I've done so far have a little star sticker as almost like a bullet point, and I alternated gold and silver. So I'm gonna continue to do that trend. I also think it's funny that I made a Dutch door for this at the beginning of the year. Don't know if we'll be needing that because I've actually been really good about not starting a bunch of new series this year and trying to focus on the ones that I have already started. So that is indeed a slay. But it also does make me a little bit sad because I kind of want to use the Dutch door because I made it, you know. And it's also just like fun. Like, who wouldn't want to use that? Mistborn is going to be silver. I've also been alternating doing purple and green, and gold goes with green, silver goes with purple. I guess that's just how I've been doing it. Heartstopper is the only one that I can fill anything out for with my new series that I just added to. So I'm gonna fill out the first 5 squares and then we can call it a day on this page. I will say all of the series on this page, I don't know if I will get to ever finish or want to continue reading. I mean, specifically Kindred's Curse. I don't know if I'm gonna get to that specifically this year. I enjoyed the first one a lot whenever I read it. I think I read it in the fall of 2024. That was actually the first book that I ever read on my Kindle, Spark of the Everflame. But I just feel like right now, especially with fantasy, I would rather focus on Percy Jackson, Ember in the Ashes, and Dungeon Crawler Carl than Kindred's Curse. So we'll have to see on that, obviously. We don't know. I can't make plans for December and August, unfortunately, even though I'd love to. But here we are. Okay, it is a new day. I am back and we are gonna work on my monthly spreads today. I've got January out now just so you guys can see. We're gonna flip through the rest of the months as well, what I've been working on so far this year. Every single monthly spread has specific things that I do tend to include just so it's kind of matching each other's vibe for the year. One of those things is my genre breakdown pie chart, which we're gonna make here in a minute, and I'll break that down for you guys. I also have all of the books that I read with their ratings, my standout book or book books of the month and then an album that reminds me of the month or I was listening to a lot that month, or even a newer album that recently came out that I was really enjoying that time of the year. Also like TV shows or movies that were really significant to the month. I also do normally include like a cute little jelly cat or Miffy or just any kind of animated character that fits the vibe, and then the rest is just kind of going with the aesthetic of the month. So this is January. I think these first 2 months specifically that I did, because I've only done the first 4 months of the year so far, I might want to go back eventually and add some stuff around because I didn't print out enough stuff. But you'll see as I get into March and April, I've definitely been hitting my stride a little bit more and figuring out how many scrapbook elements I should print out. So this is February. This is my birthday month. We have all of the elements that I talked about in the last page on this page as well. I really like how it turned out. I just feel like it does look a little sparse in some areas. I have been also printing out the elements a little bit larger as well throughout the year. This is March. I think this is my first time really feeling like one of the spreads came together. This is definitely my favorite spread so far. I like how I did the bow in the middle, and I just really like how everything looks super cohesive. I like how I added some brown as an accent color as well. And then going into April, one thing that I figured out in April is that obviously I did purple as the color for the month because April has always just been purple to me, but I do need to have certain variations on the color and shade of purple that I use for the scrapbook elements and the background and this extra little ripped out piece of paper that I do, just so certain things pop a little bit more. And a lot of the things that I printed out kind of blended in with the background. So I did have a little bit of trouble this month, but I do still think it turned out and looks good. Today we're gonna do May and June. I'm gonna put in my binder clip just so everything is flat and ready to go. And I do have a few things that I need to prep before we start laying everything out. So we'll start off with May, obviously, because that's before June. This is all the stuff that I have already prepped. Everything that you see right here was printed out on colored paper at the library. I believe at my library, it's like 50 cents per page, and I normally print about 4 to 5 pages. So it's not expensive at all, and it looks really good. I am very thankful that my library's printer does the job very well. So over the past 2 or 3 days, I've just been cutting out all of these cute little elements that I would like to use as decoration for my May page. And I think I'm actually gonna put my journal to the side for just a moment because we need to work on some other things like I already mentioned. I need to print out some book pages for the next few months, and I use my little HP Sprocket printer for it. It's honestly amazing. I started using it this year. Here is one book that's printed out. I'm gonna use this for May because this is one of my favorite books of May, and it prints out 4 books at a time. So this is one of the books for May, and then you'll see the other one later. I also need to print out the little title portion. I have these stickers that I got off of Amazon that I use with the ripped paper. So we'll make that and decide how I wanna lay that out. I'm interested to see how May turns out just because it is a very short title, obviously. It's only 3 letters, so it's not gonna take up as much space. So hopefully everything will work out okay. And I have been cutting them up based off of how many books that I read per month and then just writing it in and taping it down. And then finally, I am gonna make my pie chart. I just have this cardstock scrap that I use, and I'm gonna make 2 of them at once. I'll probably do everything for May and June all at once here, just so I can kind of do everything at once. But I have this sticker. It's from All Things Lillian. I ordered something from her a long time ago. It's just a small business of stationery things, I believe. And I just thought it would be a perfect traceable sticker for a pie chart. And it is. I've been using it for I think the past 1.5 years, and it's great. So I'm just gonna trace this and then make my pie chart and color it in, and it's as easy as that. So let's get to prepping because I do still have quite a bit to do. My little prep piles for both May and June are now complete. I am gonna take June off to the side though, because we're gonna start with May, obviously. I have all 10 of the books that I read in the month of May, my pie chart finished. I normally do both of these in a color palette that correlates with the background and the crumpled up paper. I mainly started doing the crumpled up paper at the beginning of the year just because I thought it was a nice way to add more dimension to the page. I also will, as you saw on all of my other monthly pages, do quite a bit of this book and rip up some pages in this. I just got it from Goodwill a really long time ago. I have my little title. I decided to go vertically this time, and then for June, I'm gonna do a horizontal moment, and maybe I'll cut that up in the middle, we'll see, and put it like in the middle of the 2 pages. Then I have my 2 books. We're going to feature The Correspondent and Oathbound. As you can see, I chose a blue crumpled up paper because I felt like, I think some of my elements are under here too, yeah. But I felt like with all the elements, which I'll go over briefly here in a second, and the background, we have a little bit of blue here and some blue here, but it's not used as much as the other colors that are used in the background. I love this background, by the way. I get almost everything off of Pinterest. Sometimes I have to go in for my scrapbook elements and take certain background things out, but mostly I just do it on Pinterest, put it in Canva and print everything out and go to the library and get it. But I love this background. I actually use this as my phone background for the majority of the springtime. So I'm excited to use this. And then for all of my other little elements, this is the background for the books, just a cute little doily. Obviously May is still springtime and it's starting to get a lot warmer out because it's almost summer. So I wanted to add in a lot of butterflies and flowers. These are patch butterflies. I just really like the way that they look. I also have a green one and a little purpley blue one as well. And then this is the month that Off Campus came out, and as everybody else, I was absolutely obsessed with it. So we have a little ticket that represents that. I feel like whenever I choose my album, my TV show and movie or whatever I end up choosing that month, I do try and make it color correlated and not stand out too much so it matches everything else that I'm doing that month. So I thought that worked well. My album of the month was Noah Kahan's new album. I don't know why I'm blanking right now. I believe it's called The Great Divide. I just thought this was cool, and also like the little bee jelly cat. I don't know. They kind of give the same vibes. So I thought that was cute. Also the ladybug on the thing. And also fruit is starting to come in season. We got some strawberries here. And speaking of strawberries, I also have this little button for this so it can act like it's being tacked on there. And besides the strawberries, we have these beautiful tulips because flowers are blooming. And speaking of flowers blooming, I printed and cut out a bunch of different sizes of these flowers that look like patches. I realized when I was doing my earlier months, I just didn't have enough extra little things to fill this space, I feel like, in January and February. I think I was talking about this earlier a little bit, but in March when I did the brown stars, I feel like it really made everything come together. So I want to continue doing that for the rest of the year because it just fills the space really nicely. I also, for either May or June, have a Diet Coke can and a sprinkled vanilla ice cream cone. I don't know if I'll use these for May or June or neither. Maybe I'll use them in July, but I did print them out and I do like them. I just don't really know what the vibe really is yet. We'll have to see what fits, what doesn't. I never know if I print out enough or if I print out too much. So we'll have to see, but they'll eventually get used because I do like these printouts quite a bit. Anyways, I think I'm gonna go ahead and at least get the background down. Let me get all of these little guys off of here. But once I do that, I'm gonna start messing around with the placement of everything, and then we can stick down everything and the page will be done. Honestly, I think the planning process is definitely the longest for me because I am a perfectionist. And also, might I just say, this guy, my X-Acto knife, when I talk about being a perfectionist, this has helped me so much with stickers and taping things down and just getting a nice edge under it so I can replace things. Like with the title, specifically with these stickers, I do that so much, and it's just really nice because I feel like it doesn't feel like anything is truly set in stone and I can fix things with that. So highly recommend for crafting stuff because that is an amazing tool. When I lay these down, I like to cover up these dots, but try and get it as close to the center as possible. Normally I do leave a little bit of white out though. Okay, beautiful. Background is down. By the way, this background, I just put it into Canva, printed it out, and then it does have like a little bit of a white border whenever you print it out. So I cut off that, and then I do around the edges with my little rounder. I feel like it just adds a nice finishing touch. I also round the edges on these little book list things that I do because, again, just a nice finishing touch. And also, this is a very cheap way to add a nice finishing touch, in my opinion. I'm gonna put my little book clip in now that we have the background down, just to keep it down. But this is obviously our very starting point. I'm not gonna rip out any book pages or any of the crinkled paper yet, just because I wanna play with what we already got, and then those will be the final finishing pieces. So I'm just gonna basically lay things out and play around until I get to a point where I like it. I feel like sometimes I do possibly create these little rules in my head that just aren't true, because this is just a craft for fun and I can do whatever I want. But you know, like, I don't really want these to be in the same place or near each other because they're kind of the same shape and I wanna mix it up. Same thing with these circles. And that's why it's just all about staging things and trying to figure out where you like things best. There's a little bit less green up here in the background. We'll still probably put something behind it, but I think I'm gonna put this up here because of that. Maybe this guy here, I guess. I also feel like when I do this layout, nothing is truly set in stone until I tape it down anyways. This is just kind of catching the vibe, if you will. I think I like that more, honestly. I think I'm gonna cut these in half and put these in the middle of the page. Maybe I'm gonna put this on a slant. I haven't done that before. Why the heck not? I absolutely love how like springy this is looking so far. I really like it. I do think I printed these flowers out just a little large. They don't look the best quality in my opinion. So I don't know how many of those really big ones I am going to use, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I do really like these cute little tiny ones though. They're very cute. And these like medium ones too are very cute as well. Now, as you can see, I'm starting to add in some of the ripped pages of just the crinkled up paper and book paper. This is whenever it really starts to come together. When I rip the paper, I don't like a straight edge. I want everything to have this very imperfect ripped edge. So, and if there's just like a blank space on the side, like just of the margin, I do like to rip that up as well. I just really want the words. Do I hate that or do I love that? What a great question. I did turn off the camera for just a moment just because I had to get the placements down, because a lot of the times it does take me quite a bit. But now that I have the crinkled paper and the book pages on there, I think it looks really good. Obviously, there's still a lot we need to do, like adding these little flowers in the blank spaces and adding the books and some writing here and there. But I think now I'm gonna take everything off. I did take a picture just to make sure I don't forget where everything is. But at this point, it is time to start gluing some things down. Okay, I did have to take a brief pause. There was an absolutely insane storm going on. If you live in the Midwest, I don't know what has been going on. We have had a storm or tornado watch or something almost every single day, which has been so lovely as somebody who is scared of storms. And I also ran out of my tape. I feel like this happens every single time I do my reading journal. So I did just order some as well because they're way cheaper online than they are in store. This is like $6 and I think it's like 13 for 12 online. So let's open this up and keep going. Okay, you guys, I think this is May done. I really like how it looks. It's so fun, pastel and colorful. I think my favorite thing is the way that the patches look like patches still, even whenever they're cut out and just on printer paper. I really love the butterflies and I just love how colorful it is again. I think that the last thing I'll add right here is maybe genre breakdown. Let me do that because I do label everything else, so cute. Also, these flowers ended up working perfectly. I think the biggest thing that I've learned from doing a reading journal is just to have stuff that can go in all the awkward spaces, because this page compared to this page is just so much fuller and I really love the way that it looks. Okay, now we're gonna move on to June, which I am a little bit nervous about. I feel like this page, because there's so much color and contrast because of all the colors, it turned out really well. But this is my background for the month of June, and then this is what I chose for the paper. I feel like it's not standing out enough from the background, so I'm definitely gonna need to play with things and see how it goes. I think with the book paper, I might be fine. I might just have a little bit more of a challenge trying to figure things out. I also might just need to use more book pages for this one. Okay, background is down. Let me show you all of my elements for this one. We have the heart from Love Island. I do like to try and make the TV show blend in. I feel like I mentioned that earlier, but this is a little bit more inconspicuous than me just putting the whole Love Island logo, so I really like that. I have this sun patch and then a little lemon jelly cat. I already showed you guys this, but my genre breakdown, my month title, and also the books that I read in the month of June, along with my 2 faves and the little doily that'll go under that. The button for the doily is this cute little yellow butterfly. I have a little rainbow patch since it was Pride Month. Obviously, my crinkled paper that I already showed you guys. I have some pretty flowers, a little pink cocktail. Oh, not a hair, cute. My album of the month is Olivia Rodrigo's new album, You Seem Pretty Sad for a Girl So in Love. I found that on Pinterest. I've also got this little Happy Place stamp because Happy Place, you know, it's summer romance. It's one of my favorite romances of all time. And I thought this was cute, but upon printing it out, it does have this like little watermark on it. So I might have to try and find a way to cover that with something else. We'll see. We'll play with it because I do really like it. And also it took a while to cut out. So I do still want to use it. I also have all of these little beachy space fillers that I cut out, which also took me quite a while to cut out. If I don't use all of them, I will definitely use some in the month of July. So that's nice at least. But I do think that they're really cute and they're gonna add a little bit more color than just the yellow and the pink and the orange. I do like the color scheme, but I feel like a lot of the stuff is just the same color. So it's making it just a little bit tough to have certain things pop, but we're gonna work with it. I also do still have the Diet Coke and the ice cream cone. I think I might try and put the ice cream cone on here, maybe the Diet Coke. We'll see if it fits. Otherwise, I'll use it in July. Now it is time to play with the arrangement of things. I think I'm gonna go ahead and try and get my arrangement done off camera, and then I'll come back just because my cameras are running out of storage and things are probably gonna end up changing, as I've said in probably every video that I've done my reading journal in, as I tape things down anyway. This is what the June page is looking like. I do need to do some finishing touches like I always do on my pages, like my stars and writing in my little titles and stuff. I'm gonna do the gold stars on this page, but this page turned out way better than I thought it was going to. I honestly didn't have very high hopes, if we're gonna be completely honest. I think I'm gonna try and cover this up just with a star, maybe? I kind of forgot I had to cover that up, but I also think it looks fine. I think You Seem Pretty Sad for a Girl So in Love right here brought in a lot of blue actually, which I think that this page needed. And then like the blue in Happy Place and all of these other tiny little space fillers definitely made this page feel a little bit more whole and complete in my opinion. I think that following a color scheme is really fun, obviously. And I still would have liked the way it looked if I would have just gone with a lot of warm tones, but I think having some cool tones in there have made it feel just a little bit more complete than it would have otherwise. So I was kind of nervous about this page, but I do think that it turned out really well. Gonna write what I read right here. I've been noticing that writing on this paper sometimes, just because it is like a glossy finish, can be a little challenging, but you know what? It's working out fine with me just going over it. Okay, with all of my finishing touches done, I think that is the June page complete. Again, I really like how it turned out. I'm kind of surprised by it still, but I'm very happy that it did end up coming out to at least be something that I like. I'm really excited for June because I'm gonna try and play with a lot of yellows and oranges and blue, and just having a little bit of pop of blue on this one made me really excited for July's page. And even though I do really like June's page, I think I like May's page a little bit better as for the ones that I have done in this video. I just love the pastel vibes. I think it's just really pretty. But with that all being said, I think that is all that I was looking to do in today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I had so much fun doing my reading journal with you guys, and let me know if you guys would be interested in these kind of videos in the future. Normally I do my reading journal in vlogs, but it's fun to just make it its own video sometimes, so hopefully you liked it. If you did enjoy it, it would be super awesome if you could like and subscribe. It really helps to support my channel. And if you watched until this far in the video, comment down below the shell emoji so I know who the real ones are who watched until the very end. I love you guys so much. Hope you're all having an amazing day, and I will see you guys in my next video coming real soon. Bye guys. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Literally have markers all over my hand already. I've been doing this for like 10 minutes. Like, I'm a child. So, I'm almost made a mess. That was almost bad. Oh dear. Peace.